Hey everybody, welcome today. I am Dr. Maggie Yu. I am a functional medicine MD, integrative physician, and we have a program, Transform Autoimmune Disease Naturally, that actually helps people turn around their autoimmune disease in 2-month time frame. Today we have a really special guest. We have Melissa with us, who just finished her program just a couple weeks ago. And what an incredible story and turnaround. I'm going to have Melissa say hi, and we're going to go through what some of her challenges that she was dealing with was. Melissa, here's you. Let's have you introduce yourself.
Hi, everybody. My name is Melissa. I have been suffering probably for about 6 to 8 years with gastroparesis, as well as with hyperthyroidism or Graves' disease, as it's more commonly known. Have had just a lot of fatigue, a lot of brain fog, a lot of different symptoms that I thought there was no possible way these two things were connected.
Okay, so that's a big thing. I mean, I think the biggest takeaway from this is that a lot of the Graves, you had, I think, an earlier diagnosis, but I'm hearing that stomach symptoms you've had since like a little kid.
Yeah, I probably have since birth. My mom can tell stories about me throwing up about just about everything.
So you had no idea that the stomach symptoms and the gastroparesis was related with your later diagnoses of Graves, am I right?
Absolutely not.
Okay.
No.
So you fall in the category where a lot of symptoms was ruining your life, but you didn't have necessarily a diagnosis linked to those particular symptoms. Am I right? That was autoimmune related.
Correct. I had no pieces of this puzzle put together at all.
Okay. So we're going to hear about what this journey was like and what kind of turnaround you've had. So first question first is, you work in HR, correct?
Yeah, I do.
And you have a family, you have children?
Yep. I have 2 boys and a husband. Yeah.
Okay. What was life like before you joined the program, dealing with all these symptoms plus more?
I would say stressful in one word. It was all about keeping up the appearance of being healthy or being normal. I was told that my fatigue was normal at my age. So it was really hard for me to pretend that everything was okay when it really, really wasn't, because I was tired all the time.
Well, a lot of people with autoimmune understands this, but let's talk about this more. I mean, I did the same thing. So I want to ask, why were you pretending? Like, people don't realize how people look at us and we look normal on the outside, but when we're really struggling with autoimmune, whether it's Graves or Hashimoto's or RA or gastroparesis, why, can you explain to people why you felt like you had to pretend, and who are you pretending to?
If I had a broken arm, everybody can see that. They understand that something happened and I broke a bone, and that's painful. They can relate to that. They don't necessarily understand the bigger picture of what these diseases do to you as an individual. It's physically draining and emotionally draining. So you tend to put up walls around yourself and say, yeah, I'm just going to pretend it's fine because you don't understand. And maybe I don't really understand everything that's going on either.
So in a lot of ways, it's like you build up this fake wall of who you're trying to look like to the rest of the world. But in a way, you're actually isolating yourself, and you're not really looking out for help or understanding. But and was there help or understanding in the medical profession or in your friends or family during this process before? Was there help?
I think my family was understanding, and they knew that I wasn't feeling well and that something wasn't right. Yet to figure out what it was. The medical community was so diverse. I was sent from specialist to specialist to specialist to try to figure out where my pain was coming from. So that was not supportive whatsoever.
So give me an idea of what was your life like before you joined our program?
So I really was focused on, what am I going to eat? How is this going to make me feel? Am I going to get sick? Is there going to be a place that I can maybe take a nap? Can I rest? I wasn't thinking clearly. My job got so much harder because, what I do takes a lot of thought and consideration and empathy for others. And it was hard to do that when I was not feeling well either. So each day was a struggle. Each day was hard. I was missing out on a lot.
You said you were missing out on a lot. Like, give me an idea. Tell me is there something in recent memory that you remember that where, you paid the money, you went, but you really was miserable? Give me an idea.
Yeah, so we took a vacation, you know, a small family vacation for a couple of days at the beach, you know, in Ocean City. And, you know, it was difficult to enjoy that family time because I was focused on how tired I was going to be by 10 a.m. What was I going to eat? Where were we going to be able to sit down and relax for a little bit? It was just this constant churning that I couldn't rest and relax on a family vacation.
Hmm. How do you think it affected your impacted your relationship with your kids, your relationship with food, and the level of fatigue you were experiencing?
Yeah, so I think a lot of the fatigue and the brain fog was that with them was I can't do that right now. I need to go take a nap. You know, I can't play. I can't, you know, sit down and do a puzzle with you. I can't go outside and, you know, play baseball with you because I'm
Mm-hmm.
tired. And
Mm-hmm.
if I don't try to sleep now, because the other thing was I wasn't sleeping at night either. So I tried to take that time when I could. If I had time to settle down and take a nap, I did it.
Well, I love this idea that, you know, people talking about Graves and gastroparesis, but now you're throwing in more and more symptoms. Now there's insomnia at night and
Yeah,
brain fog. And how in the hell are all these things even related? You had no idea, right? So you were running around in circles.
running around in circles.
Okay, so I want to know, and people want to know, you know, you've been through our 2-month program, and right now I want to know what the results and outcomes were, and then we're going to talk about how that happened in the program. Tell us, I mean, you're literally 2 weeks out from graduate, 3
Yeah,
weeks from graduating. So this is just 2 months ago that you were living this life, and so
yeah.
where are you now?
Where am I now? Now I have an endless amount of energy. I get up in the morning before the alarm goes off and get out of bed, not just wait to turn it back on. You know, I think I think clearer. Not perfect yet, but I'm getting better. You know, I'm going for walks on a regular basis. I never would have thought about doing that before. You know, I have so much more energy.
Well, that's what I was seeing was that post after post from you, were you walking on the outside your house, walking on the beach, walking out in the back. I mean, you were just post after post of you walking. I had not seen any of those early in the program. I had not even heard about you going out for walks. And all I see is you, and I think even on our last mastermind call where we were doing group coaching, you were out there walking and
I
counting your steps.
was. Yeah. It was too nice outside not to.
Well, but did you walk or did you walk at all, or did you walk like that before the program?
So before the program, no, that would have been a struggle. I would have been 15, 20 minutes and had to call it quits. You know, I used to be an avid runner. I missed that. It's another thing in my life that I missed. I used to run a lot, and I didn't. I couldn't physically do that. So being able to go for walks now is like a huge win because, and I'm talking like 2 miles. Now, I'm not talking about, you know, 15 minutes. I do a good 2-mile walk. But my goal is to start running again, and I know I can accomplish it now.
Well, we talk about a lot of what we do in our program is mindset work, changing our identity and who we are. And remember I think it was while you were there, we were talking to somebody and I said, you have an identity here, because I used to be able to run, and because of pain and autoimmunity, I stopped running, and there were several years I didn't even think I could really walk, much
Yeah.
less work. I mean, there was 2 years I couldn't even work without someone actually doing all the physical work for me. And so like one of the things I was saying is you need to get a new identity of who you are, because so much of what we do with autoimmunity is say what we can't do.
Yeah.
So what's your new identity around running?
I'm a runner.
Yes, I am a runner.
I am a runner.
I'm a lean, mean autoimmune machine, crushing machine that runs.
That's right.
Absolutely. So, you know, like people are going to know, how did this happen? There's a lot to our program. And if people haven't seen the
Yeah.
training, go to drmaggie.com, watch our training, join our Facebook group, Transform Autoimmune Disease Naturally, tons of videos on how these turnarounds happen. But I want to know, what were the linchpins for you? What were, I guess, the medical ahas in the program that was shocking?
Okay. So first and foremost, data was just fantastic. I felt like it's the only way that I could solve some of these mysteries. But for me, you know, at first, I think it's about a month in, I'm like, oh, vitamin data is back, vitamin minerals. This is great. perfect. I was deficient in vitamin D, B12, iron. Great, let's get some supplements. I felt fantastic. I thought, great, this is it. Perfect. We move on to food mapping, and I'm like, oh, that makes so much more sense. Okay, let's get rid of some of these things, clean up the diet. Felt better. And then we got to hormones. Hormones for me. Hormones and adrenals. These were
Who knew?
Who knew? These are things I never had talked to any practitioner about. And they were like the magic switch. And I had, no idea at week 4 that I could feel this good at week 8, And I think those were the things that really sent my energy levels back to where they were, where they should be. I'm not even sure I remember feeling this good, to be honest with you, in how many years. And my, stomach has just gotten better too. There's been so much relief on both fronts.
So food-wise, have you been able to eat a lot more food, or is this really you were restricting even more and more to get here? People want to know.
No, I think that because I got a better understanding of what those intolerances were, I didn't realize how they were ingrained in so many things and how I needed to break down ingredients to understand what it was really making me feel terrible. And once I did that, there was a whole other list of things that I could handle. And I stopped being afraid to try. And that's really, it came down to mindset. I stopped being afraid to try once I looked at that data and understood it.
Well, that's the thing is, if you think about what does data, to me, like, what do you think data means to you? What was it? If I gave you a word, free word association, data equals blank, what would you say it is?
Freedom. That data was freedom to me. It maybe a better word would have been empowering, somewhere between those two, because it told me what the story was, not what I had assumed.
Well, I think that's an interesting thing that you're talking about, because a lot of people say I can go to a doctor and get data.
Yeah.
What's the difference with getting some data from your doctor versus doing our program and what we do with data with you? What's the difference?
The education. It was all the education about what does that data mean? What are good functional values? Where should you be at? And having that education around it was just such an important part of just doing the test. I mean, that was more important than that.
You know what I find interesting is a lot of people, because we're an online program, some people, it's easier to go to your physical doctor that you can see, touch right in front of you, that seems to be a lower risk proposition. And people in our program, like you, have done that for decades.
Yep.
And so, to me, the biggest risk that you can do is repeating a broken system that doesn't work.
Correct.
Actually, because you were paying with seeing the doctors, decades of your life of suffering, and you're paying every day, every meal, every bite, every moment with your family, with your work, with your sleep, you were paying over and over again. That's a risky proposition. Someone said you're going to live like that for the rest of your life. And that to me is the highest risk course of action to commit to.
Yeah, and by the way, it's going to get worse. So, it's not going to get any better.
Do you think things were getting worse? Is that why you ended up joining our program?
No, well, that's what the doctors told me.
Oh, they told you there was no other option except it was going to get worse.
No, I was at the end of my options.
So that's the riskiest thing. They already told you it's going to be way worse.
Yeah.
Okay. So why did you join the program then? Was it like, what the heck? What do I have to lose? How much more risk can I take than pure raw hell?
Right. Yeah, I was at a point where there had to be something different. And if the medical community couldn't support me, there had to be some other way. That was the natural way in my mind. And that's what led me to your program. I was looking for something that was more natural based.
I think the biggest thing you talk about is natural based, data based, and also educational based. And to you, the combination of data with the education was what was equals freedom. That was the key to your freedom.
Yep.
I love that.
And I got it.
Let me ask you some questions of what, I'm going to do a section of the interview I'm going to call Soul to Soul. And I want to ask you some questions, and I want you, the first thing that comes in your mind, just speak it. Okay?
Okay.
What was, before you joined the program and living in the way you have the last 10 years, what was your biggest fear?
Leaving my kids.
Hmm.
Yeah, that was hard to think that I was going to get worse and they were going to see that.
And you were told you were guaranteed to get worse.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, gastroparesis does not get better, it gets worse.
And you're not even the first interview we've done or the first client we've worked with gastroparesis. I mean, when you joined, did you see Christina Chun's interview?
I did. She was one of the videos that I watched, and I thought this has to be the answer.
Well, Christina's experience was exactly the same as yours. She said at her anniversary dinner with her husband, all she could eat was a baked potato, plain.
Yeah.
And she was sitting in front of him at their anniversary dinner and he was having the meal and she felt really bad and he felt bad. All she could eat was the potato.
Yep.
I have a follow-up interview with her because she's graduated about 1.5 years ago that we're going to be airing soon.
Oh,
and
great.
I know. So there's going to be like, besides your video talking about gastroparesis, we're going to show Christina Chun a year after the program to show people this is not just like results right at the end of the 2 months. It's what happens, 1.5 years, 2 years later, where are they now? I think that's really important.
That's awesome.
I love that. So your biggest fear was leaving your kids.
Yeah.
Where's that fear now?
I don't even think about it anymore. It doesn't exist in my mind. I think that I am a better example to them.
And you know what I say is that we have a choice. The two most powerful way that we influence our children is either as an example or as a warning. Yeah. And where would you say you were before the program?
I was definitely in that warning phase. I think now I'm, or even an example of what not to be. And I think now I've turned into an example of what you can be.
I love that. Next question.
Sure.
If you were to think back to something 2 months ago that you thought was impossible, something that you do every day now, or something you do even without thinking, taking for granted that you can do now in the last couple of weeks, that 2 months ago would have been impossible, what would that be?
Wow. There's so many things on that list, but top of mind comes from I guess, is I get out of bed in the morning and I'm raring ready to go. I get up before the alarm, I get my day started, and I'm happy to do that. I'm not dragging myself around anymore.
What was the mornings like before? How did you make it?
Oh my gosh. I was definitely this queen of the snooze button. Perpetually late, just no energy, grogginess, just could not get my morning started. I was a caffeine addict.
Probably not just caffeine. I bet there were other things you were addicted to.
Yeah, I was without a doubt. Give me caffeine and sugar. Call it like it is. And don't talk to me till I'm at least through my first cup of the day.
Well, a lot of people, Melissa, like you, would say that they're addicted to sugar, and they would post under our Facebook group questions like, "What can I do about sugar cravings?" And to me, the solution is so much bigger than that. Because if you think about just even like, waking up with energy, I mean, being exhausted in the morning was one of the reasons you were addicted to caffeine and sugar. How do you fix being exhausted in the morning? Well, you just named all the different ways, which is like you change how you thought, you change what you ate, you changed your hormones, your blood sugar, your adrenals. You got yourself educated. You became an example rather than a warning for your children. And you're able to do a gazillion more things to actually even burn through any sugar that you're eating. So it's like, it's a whole solution. It's not just how do you deal with sugar cravings? Here's a supplement.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which is what everyone in the world wants.
You'll get over it eventually. That was always my favorite.
Well, is this hard? That's my question. People are like, okay, you've gotten rid of your symptoms. Your symptoms of gastroparesis are largely gone. You have crazy energy in the morning. Is this super hard what you're doing now?
No, It is not super hard. It is thoughtful, but it is not super hard.
Was it way harder living with those symptoms?
Hell yes. Without a doubt. Without a doubt. My life is, it's freedom. As I said, I have freedom from food. I have freedom from my symptoms.
Love that. Okay. Here's another question. What advice would you give to your younger self 10 years ago?
Oh, 10 years ago. Wow. Be patient with yourself, number one. Do your research, and, you know, be your own best advocate. If you are not feeling right, speak up and do something about it.
I love that, be your own advocate. And I think that's one of the biggest things is that we actually don't teach patients and clients, people with medical issues, is there a course on how to be your own advocate?
No, not at all.
And you've been dealing with chronic disease for your whole life, 40 plus years. And there's never been an educational process about how to be a health advocate for the fight of your life.
Nope. Was always taught that if the doctor says that, that's what you do.
What do you think now?
Agree. Oh. You know, I'd rather have a more in-depth conversation and get more information than to just take what anyone says as a fact.
So now
if I don't feel in my gut that it's right.
So right now you're an incredible, powerful, educated, resourceful advocate for yourself.
Absolutely.
I love it. So you've joined the league of alumni who kick ass, take names, and chew bubblegum, Melissa. That's my motto, you know. I don't just work with anyone. I work with people who kick ass, take names, and chew bubblegum because that's who graduates from our program, all right?
Right. That's right. I
just help you up that level 10 times. Oh my goodness. All right. And then I had a really great question. Okay. Ooh, this is a good one. What is the one thing that you discovered about yourself during this program that surprised the heck out of you?
Surprised the heck out of me. Wow. I think I had a couple different surprises, but I think the surprise the heck out of me was, yeah, I can control blood sugar.
You can control anything.
I can control anything.
Well,
you're right.
Melissa, I learned something really recently from Master Co. He's a great pranic healer. And he said, and I'm definitely going to be turning this into one of the teachings in the program is that, you know, when you ask the question, who am I? A lot of people think, who am I? They think I'm my body, or I'm my emotions, or I'm my thoughts. But the truth of the matter is we're none of those things. We're actually the spirit that actually is the boss of the body. We're the spirit that's the boss of the emotions, and we're the spirit that's the boss of those thoughts. And what we don't realize is addiction, quote, addiction is basically the boss telling your spirit that it's the boss. The body telling your spirit that it is the boss. That's addiction. Because think about caffeine and sugar addiction. It's your body telling your spirit that it's the boss of you.
Yep.
Think about people who live in drama and trauma, okay, which is the emotions that you're experiencing, the reactivity, the response, these emotions actually are ruling your spirit. And then think about the people with monkey brain, people whose brains just rattle all and on. This, I can't sleep at all because my brain, I just can't stop. I can't stop. I can't stop. They wake up thinking, constantly worrying, right? We call that the monkey brain. That's your thoughts controlling your spirit. Now, when you finally recognize you're the actual spirit that controls all of those things, I'm serious. If you're the spirit that controls your body, how hard is it to say, blood sugar, you don't control me. I'm the spirit that controls you. How easy would that be?
Yeah, way easier.
Easier.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, and you know, there's so many things people are like, oh, I could never not eat gluten, or I could never be raw vegan, or I could never, you know, all those things. If you know you're the spirit that's in control of the body and around the other way around, it's so easy to be like, no, 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 no. I'm actually the spirit. Who am I? I'm that spirit that says I can say yes or no to whatever the heck I want because I'm the spirit in control of it.
Yeah, that's a big thought, is that where does that control lie?
In you, the spirit.
Exactly. And that everything else should follow suit if you have control of your control, you know? So,
right.
yeah, definitely.
So learning that has been really great for me in terms of I don't allow my body to control me. Of course, I understand and I see it now. Oh, my body wants it.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong, it still wants it. But at the same time, it's so much easier for me to be like, no, I'm not going to do that. And that's fine because my spirit's in control. And I think it's sometimes tougher for people to understand is just people who are very ruled by emotions. You know, I'm depressed or I'm really mad or I'm really hurt and they're just ruled by that emotion. You absolutely as a spirit can step back and be like, I'm the spirit that's in charge of that emotion. That emotion doesn't have to rule me. And in fact, I can change that emotion at any given moment.
Right.
That's freedom. That's power.
Yeah.
So those are the kind of things that the mindset work that I love to do with clients in the program. And so, you know, like, so, and you said the biggest takeaway that you had was that you said that you could master blood sugar, right?
Yeah.
That surprised you.
Can I revise that statement now?
Go for it. Tell me.
Well, in my mind, it's being able to control all of those pieces, the mind, body, spirit, and remove the fear that I had. I think that was another big thing for me, is I had a lot of fear. I had a lot of fear of making myself feel worse by what I was putting into my body. So I just decided not to, you know, at some point. But I think that taking back that control was probably a really big thing for me.
I can identify with that, Melissa, because I used to live in fear and scarcity a lot, and it made me a very judgmental person. And it was quote unquote protection to build more walls around. Some people build walls around themselves. And I remember that living in fear was so paralyzing that I lived judging a lot, sometimes looking at, you know, black and white, right and wrong. And it was a very scary way, honestly, to live, because I actually alienated a lot of people around me. I wasn't open to fun, spontaneity, joy when you live in fear.
Yeah. Yeah. I think it was as a way of protecting myself. I took on everybody else's emotions and problems instead of being able to separate myself from them and maybe give them advice if they were asking for it and walking away from it. You know, I would get kind of stuck in it. So,
I bet you were giving advice even when they didn't ask for it.
No, I'm pretty careful about that because of the type of work that I do. But so I would kind of take on all of that emotional weight as well. And then I wasn't living my own life with the spontaneity and the fun and, you know, enjoying where I was at. So, yeah.
I love it. So thank you. One big question that people have is how hard was the process to actually join our program, to learn more about program, join our program? How difficult was that for you?
Simple. If you, you know, I went to your website, I went to your Facebook page, I kind of searched out my symptoms. I saw other interviews just like this one with other people who have graduated the program. I watched a couple of them. I got in touch with your scheduling team to do, you know, an information session, you know, and, had a great call and had a second call. And, you know, it was really easy to find the information I needed to get my questions answered and get the confidence that this was where I needed to be.
Yeah, like for me, really big for us, Melissa, is that our program really is about a connection, it's not a transaction. Yeah. So a lot of people are just like, oh, can I just go click a link and buy? And I'm like, no, we're not a click the link to buy, because I mean, you know how closely we've all worked with you.
Yeah.
Our entire team have worked with you and others in our program, and it's a small group we work with through our program. So we're really choosy about who we work with, and everybody in the group really affected and supported each other very positively.
Yeah.
So for me, it was really important for us to make the process easy to learn more about us. So they could, any of you that are watching this, go to drmaggieyu.com, watch our training, join our Facebook group, Transform Autoimmune Disease Naturally, and click the link to book a call with us, which you'll find everywhere. It's just drmaggieyu.com/apply. And you can book a call with us. We're about connection, so we want to connect and learn more about you and talk to you, so we can figure out if it's a right fit or not, because we want it to be a beautiful fit so that we can both really share this time together to really get you incredible outcomes. And having the right people in our program is really amazing. It's like an amazing synergy when that happens. And these are kind of results that can happen.
Yeah, definitely. Great
Did you enjoy the people that were in the program with you?
Oh, absolutely. I learned so much just from other people's questions, which were just fantastic. My pod was just incredibly supportive. We still talk on a regular basis.
Yeah.
They are lifelong friends at this point.
I love it.
They're fantastic. So it's without a doubt the best investment I've ever made in myself.
Well, thank you so much. I want you to go ahead and enjoy life, man. You got a whole summer. Do you have any vacations planned with the family?
Oh yeah, we're doing another beach trip, doing some amusement parks, which, you know, is so much fun, even though I hate going on rides, but I enjoy watching them enjoy it.
How far are you from, are you in Maryland?
No, I'm in Pennsylvania.
Oh, guess where? I'm going to DC next week.
Yeah.
I'm flying into Baltimore.
Okay, so you'll be 3 hours from me.
Oh, wow. So which
car.
part of Pennsylvania are you in?
I'm just northeast of Philadelphia.
I wonder if you're close with Amanda.
Oh, I don't know.
Amanda lives in Pennsylvania in what she calls the self-proclaimed mushroom capital of the world, which I will argue with her that Portland is the mushroom capital of the world.
Oh, I don't know. I think she's in Western PA then. I'm not sure.
Well, anyway, thank you for a great interview. Thank you for sharing this.
I appreciate everything you've done. It's a great program. Thank you.
Thanks, Melissa. Have a great night.
You too.